Hey guys, and welcome to the world of Black Desert Online, a new MMO that has come out, and it's been hyped for a pretty long time. People have really been looking forward to it, and I was pretty much following the release. I was really looking forward to it myself. I kind of got worried, and I heard people criticising it and saying, oh, it's not actually that good, and there's problems with it. But then there were a lot of people saying, oh yeah, it's great, I really like it. And I was a bit torn, I was a bit confused, like maybe it wasn't the game I really expected it to be. But I finally got it, and I think it's bloody fantastic. As you may see, I haven't got the UI up right now, because when I turn it on, you're going to be very confused. And I will detail everything that's going on in a moment, but first of all, I'm going to turn it on. And don't be overwhelmed, I know there's a lot there, and I will explain it all soon, but first of all, I'm going to set track for Valia, a city where I can show you a few of the things that makes this game great. I'm just coming from Hydel, the other city that you access in the game, but I will go through things one by one so you are on the same level as me and you know what's going on. To give some context, I don't really play MMOs. They seem on paper the sort of thing I should love. I love RPG games, I love single player RPG games, but the kind of format MMOs have of go here, kill 15 goblins and do raids with other players in dungeons, it's never really been for me. The only MMO I've enjoyed was RuneScape, which I played extensively. I was incredibly high level, I had loads of money, and I just loved how much there was to it. There were so many skills, you could earn your living through so many different methods, you didn't just have to go and kill shit, like you do in a lot of other games. Don't get me wrong, I've tried games, I've tried World of Warcraft, I've tried Archage, I've tried Blade and Soul, I've tried... There are so many MMOs that have come out, and I've just kind of gotten through them, but never really stuck. I've never seen the incentive to keep on playing. The only one that comes close is Guild Wars 2, which I did hit level cap with, and I played for a fair amount, but then I just saw no incentive to play more. But out of all those experiences, this is the only one that has come close to matching the same reasons I loved RuneScape, because this is what is known as a Sandbox MMO instead of a theme park MMO. As far as I know, that basically means you don't have to go out and kill shit and experience dungeons and raids to enjoy the game. You can enjoy the game from doing pretty much damn well what you want. And if I hop into the first thing, which is the profile menu, again, it looks very complicated, but you will get used to it, I swear. This is where you can see just the full extent of the stuff you can do. These professions are all things you can level up, and you don't have to level them up through quests, just doing them will level them up. Hell, you see your breath up there in training. If you want to have more stamina, you just sprint. That's all you need to do, and that will level that up. If you want to have more strength, you just need to carry heavy stuff. That will level that up. If you want more health, you just eat food, and that will level that up. So it really is as simple as that. And all the professions down there, they are all really good ways of earning money. But I will need to quickly go to the stable here and check in my horse. And the horses, they're not just your run-of-the-mill mounts. They are actual animals. You need to look after them, you need to feed them, you can level them up, and you can breed them. You can even hunt your own horses, then you can breed horses, you can sell horses. That's one of the many things you can do, as well as getting wagons to transport goods, and that's my first starter donkey there. But I won't go into that, I won't go too in depth with everything, I just want to show you everything you can do and what makes this game great. So this is one of the starting cities of Valia, and this is where you're going to be leveling up most of your professions and doing most of your tutorial stuff. This is my room in the inn, which is essentially my house. You can place furniture here, and you can actually fully customize your house, another thing which I loved about RuneScape. And it is going to cost a lot. It is going to cost a lot to get all the fancy, nice furniture. It's very easy to place, and there's a lot of stuff you can get, and you can actually get interior points to kind of, if you want numbers to associate with this instead of it just looking nice. Mine doesn't look too good. I haven't put too much time into this. I see it more as a thing I want to do gradually instead of focusing on. But that's my room in the inn, but I'll set a quick objective of showing you the trading in the game. So this is the map, this is the world map. This entire area is discovered after, let me quickly check, 1 day and 4 hours of playtime, so that's 28 hours. This is how much I've explored in 28 hours, but this is the world map. And I should say, there's no fast travel system. You can auto travel, but there's no fast travel, there's no way to teleport to an area. So the fact that the world map is huge, I bloody love, and I'll quickly hop into it again. It again looks complicated, you will get used to the icons, I swear, but you can see the cities, you can zoom in on them, and you can see the individual buildings and the houses and what you can use them for, because pretty much any building you see you can buy or you can purchase, and then you can turn it into things for your workers and stuff. Like if I wanted to get that refinery, I could, and then I can get workers to refine certain equipment, or here I can make refined materials into planks and make chests and stuff. And that's all done through the use of workers, which is a system I'll go into in a second. But first of all, I need to talk about these lines which you see between certain settlements and areas. You can essentially connect areas up, and if you connect areas up, you're creating this little network of towns which you are involved with. And within those networks, you can trade various goods, which is one of the many money-making methods. So if I go into a stable and take out my wagon, I can't actually do that because it's at the Western Guard camp. I will instead take out Grigori, my reliable, current best horse that I have. I will go over to the trading vendor here, and I will call the horse over so he can pick up some of the goods with me. I just need to left click on that. I will explain the UI in a second, it's just I want to get out of town first and start trading. So I click the trade button, and I've got 36 seconds to go, never mind. One of the criticisms is obviously how cluttered areas can get, and that can really break your immersion. Yeah, sure, it makes the areas feel lively, but it is pretty immersion breaking. It does make the world feel very alive though, which is nice, and I do like that. And once you hit the max level, you can openly PvP any one of these people. I could just hold control, press C, and then suddenly I can attack everything, but then everything can attack me too. So that is something that I haven't experienced yet, but I will experience soon. So if I go into the trade menu, you can see a variety of goods which are exclusive to this local settlement here. You can see the current rate that they're going for, and ideally you want to buy things that are currently low, so that's minus 90%, which means I can buy it essentially for a discount. So say if I pick up 2 of these, in fact no, I'll go for something a bit more pricey. If I go into food, maybe some smoked chicken. That is currently, that's currently at 91%, it's updating in real time. So I can purchase 2 of those, the weight is 91, my horse can hold 94, so if I purchase those, I can stick it on my horse, and now my horse is carrying those items. Which, if I find my horse amongst this current mess there he is, then I can hop on him and he will physically have the goods attached to him, and he'll be moving a bit slower as a result. He can still sprint because he's a damn good horse, but then I can head over to a local farm and sell these goods. So as the horse is travelling in that direction, I'll start doing my best at explaining what the hell is going on screen, because one of the criticisms this game had is the UI is complicated, and I can attest to that. I should say, when I started this game, the first 10 hours or so, I thought, yeah, this is kind of a bit too much, and I don't think I am a fan of MMOs enough to justify it. And it's too much, I didn't really know what's going on, I was overwhelmed, I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. But eventually I did get used to it, and I saw that the best thing to do is just pick one thing you want to do, and do that. Don't try and do everything, because trust me, you will not be able to. Excluding the repeatable quests, there are 1,000 quests available in this game. So you're not going to be able to do every single one of them, you just can't. But you have your quest log here, which is fine and dandy. There's a lot of quests I've currently got accepted, which you can work on at any time. There's the minimap up there, you get used to what the icons are, you can hover over to see exactly what they are. This is just your access to different menus, and I won't need to go into detail with all of those. This is your hotbar, which you can associate items and potions with, and skills if you need to, but you don't actually need to do that because the combat system is damn better than RuneScape, and in fact I'd say the best of any MMO I've ever played. So I'll get into the combat soon. That's going to be the light at the end of this tunnel. Then you've got the chat in the bottom left, and nothing to worry about there, but I'm now at the farm, so I can go to this node manager here, I can go into the trade menu, and you can see all the items I have here. So because it's connected up, I can get a 2% discount, or rather bonus, and they're buying it for 105% market value, so I'm getting 130 silver profit on these if I sell them here. I could travel further if I wanted to get a bigger bonus, but that's, well yeah, again, that's one of the things you can do, and me doing that short trip between those two increased my trading skill, which is just there. So that's only level 7 right now, but as you increase it, you can get access to better goods, and get better prices and everything like that. So if I find a quest I can go to show off some combat, where will I go? I'll go down down here, because there will be some decent enemies that I can actually fight and show you a good taste of a combat. So I don't actually want to go that route. I want to go this route because I feel as though that would be faster. So I will cheat the UI there and explain a few more of what you can do, a few more things of what you can do in this game whilst I'm travelling across the countryside, which you can admire. I really want to take the UI off. The game looks so much better when it is off, but it'll make it hard to describe a few things, so unfortunately I'll need to keep it on. If I hop into my profile menu again, I will go over all the money making methods which you can do. So if I reword that, all the things you can focus on and kind of choose as your profession what you want to do in this game. There is gathering, which is the process of, if I quickly stop my horse here, all these things you see out in the world, they're not just there for flavour. You can actually essentially farm them, like this tree. If I equip a woodcutting axe, which where is my woodcutting axe? I need to buy a new one. I completely forgot about that. That's pretty embarrassing. Okay, seeing as I don't have an axe, I will go and find a rock instead. I say as I'm in one of the least rocky areas I've ever seen. Okay, this is bad for proving my demonstration, but basically stuff out in the wild, you can farm it, similar to RuneScape. Every tree you see in RuneScape you can cut down with your woodcutting, or with your axe. Every tree in this you can, or pretty much every tree you can cut down. Every rock or node you can see, you can mine. And that is the process of gathering. So gathering, you can go out and do it. You could literally ignore combat in this game and just find resources. You could try and look for a mine and then go with a pickaxe and farm things there. You could get some iron ore, you could get your workers to process it, and then you could bundle it into packages which you can sell through trading, as I just did. Instead of buying them, you can actually make them yourself. So that is gathering in itself. Processing is the act of refining materials. As I showed, you can either do it yourself or you can get workers to do it. And if I go into the processing menu, which again I'll need to stop my horse riding to do that. If I go into the processing menu, there's so many different things within this one skill. There's shaking, there's mixing, there's chopping, there's drying, there's thinning, there's heating, there's simple cooking, simple alchemy, and simple smithing, I believe that one is. And all of those are just for simple versions. You can get cooking utensils to put in your house, or you can get an actual anvil to do proper, more advanced stuff. So that is what the processing part is. Cooking is obviously cooking meals with various ingredients which you can farm, you can buy, or you can get from mobs or other players. Alchemy is something I haven't done at all yet, but that's mixing herbs and stuff you find out in the wild to make potions. Training is the act of training horses and breeding them and doing all that kind of stuff. Fishing is something a lot of people are enjoying, where if you equip a fishing rod, and there's actually a quest that I can turn in here, so I am going to do that real quick, because this is one of the trade quests I did, and I didn't come back here, so I'll just accept that. And there's actually 2 quests here, sweet. And I can accept another one, but honestly, this is the sort of game where you're not going to be accepting every single quest you see, otherwise you will never get anything done. So there are various bodies of water and lakes and rivers, and in all of these you can fish. And you can get unique fish from each area. You can get some rare ones, you can get some simple ones. There's a fishing minigame associated with it. And if you want to invest in fishing, you can actually build a raft or a ship, and you can sail out to sea to find some of those super rare uninhabited fishing spots where no other players are going to be stealing your goods. And again, that's a completely different thing you can do, and you can invest a lot of time into that. And that's something that will earn you a lot of money, because fish are actually rare and people want them, so you can sell them for a lot of money. So yeah, that's fishing. Hunting, again, something I haven't gone into at all yet, but that's another in-depth, extensive thing you can do. Trading is what I showed you earlier, and then farming, you can set up plots of farmland out across the world, and then you can plant seeds, and those seeds you can get from a variety of various means, and then you can watch them grow, and you can build fertilizer and stuff to put in them. So I will head down there for my demonstration of the combat. And then that is all the professions. Those are simply the non-combat ones, which is, well, I didn't go in depth with any of those, but you can get a taste of how much there is in this game in that alone. And honestly, that is what I love about the game. That is why I love it so much. In that one little menu, there is so much stuff, and so much stuff you could do if you wanted to, but you don't need to. Nothing is mandatory in this game, not even the combat or the armor or anything. You can do whatever you damn well want. You can make a living how you want, and I think that is what is so good about it. So, whilst I'm here, all this stuff is mainly combat-based stuff, which I won't go into too much in detail. And hopefully I am nearing my destination where I can show you the combat itself, because that is one of the reasons to get this game, in my opinion. I reckon it's damn fantastic. So as a little taster, if I hop into the skills menu, these are all the skills which you can learn. And unlike a lot of MMOs I've played, there's a lot of freedom as to what skills you want to focus in. Like, I am currently playing as a ranger, and if I wanted to, I could level up and focus on my kicking melee attacks. Or I could focus on attacking from range, or I could focus on dagger skills. And generally there's a lot of freedom. You don't just buy skills or learn them as soon as you can. You need to very much choose what you want to focus your skill points on. And there's, oh no, my horse is nearly out of stamina and I don't have any carrots. That is a problem, because that means he's going to get very slow. I forgot to feed him earlier. So that is unfortunate. But thankfully, what the hell is that? Is that a fucking chocobo? And there was no one riding it. Is that a random thing you can tame? Although there's just some guy chasing after it as well. I really want to get into horse taming, and I would love to do that. And honestly, any of those areas I've mentioned, it would take an entire video of its own to go into detail about just how good they are. But I'll park my horse on road here, where he will be safe from monsters, because you can't just leave him unattended. They will essentially get attacked and die. I'm going to communicate with him to increase his stats a little bit. I'll do that off cooldown when I can. Oh, I forgot to show you the marketplace. I was going to sell my bow and these crystals which I got, just as a demonstration of how you can sell goods. But now I'm going to be getting into the combat. So, oh man, I don't know where to start. It's such a big thing. I'm going to say what I'm doing as I'm doing it, just to give you a taste of how dynamic and intuitive the combat is. So, I'm using a bow, obviously, and I'm using a dagger. If I switch into combat mode, if I hold right click, it will do swipes of a dagger, which are just simple. It will restore mana if I need to. But if I hold left click, it will fire arrows. So that's all fairly simple. It will do a few charged arrows at the end. But then if I do that combined with movement, it will do a nice little evasive shot. And if I hold back, it will fire 2 arrows at once. So this is just a basic toolset of me attacking the guy. And you can use that. You can level up those abilities if you wanted to. But then there are a lot of other tools at your disposal. So if I go in with this guy, then I can drop kick him, I can slash with my dagger a bit, I can jump back and do an explosive shot to get some distance. So that's combining a variety of skills which will debuff him, it will knock him down, it will stun him, it will cause him to bleed, it will do various things like that. And that was through what I like to call a button combination, which is a variety of movement, left clicking and right clicking and holding shift. And you don't need to press buttons, you need to remember combos, so it feels a lot more like a fighting game. So say if I do this, right click, hold back and left click, it will jump back with an explosive shot and fire a volley of arrows. And I can do that for a lot of my AoE if there's more enemies. I can do this if I want to fire some explosive arrows and knock them down. If I hold F, I can do my kick attacks, which I haven't invested in much, but that's just as a nice alternative for close range. These guys are hitting me hard, so I'll need to use a potion. But these are just a few of the skills. If I hold right click, it does for daggers as I showed you. You can press forward for a spin attack, which is slightly more damaging. And you can hold right click and move backwards for the explosive shots or for an extra charged arrow. If I hold shift and right click, it will charge up a shot which I can release for more damage. And then there are my E abilities. The E abilities I have are my favourite, and those are the ones I've been focusing in. So if I go over, let's make this a bit more challenging. I'm going to poke a few of these enemies and get them to attack me in one huge group. So I'll need to be a bit evasive here and watching them. But then I can press 1 for AoE, which will debuff them all. And then I can retreat back, and I will press E, which will do a charge attack, and then fire a volley of arrows. Or I can press back an E, which will again do the same thing, but it will hit a group of enemies. Or I can crouch and again fire a volley of arrows. I prefer the very fast-paced attacks, And they do use mana, which means after doing that I will need to get up close. What I normally do is drop kick like that, and then hold down and back to knock the enemy down. This one can't be knocked down, unfortunately. But then it leaves it open for some dagger strikes, which I can do to restore mana. And yeah, this is only level 21. I am not near endgame, I haven't got any of the best abilities, and there are a lot more abilities to get. And I think the combat is just great. It is so intuitive, it's so dynamic, it looks good, it feels weighty. The best thing I could compare it to actually is Dragon's Dogma, which is one of my favourite games in ways of combat. I think it's so dynamic, I think it feels good, it feels as combat should feel. And yeah, combat is something that isn't mandatory. If this was an MMO on its own with standard combat, then I think it would be one of the best. But it's got all this other stuff around it which feels good, and which you could do. How I have enjoyed just simply standing around and buying goods and then selling goods in other towns. I've enjoyed that sometimes more than the combat itself, because it is enjoyable to do, and the money you make all feels very well earned, and every way you can earn money is feasible, is the best way of putting it. There's like, oh, that's a new attack I learned, I haven't done that one yet, it's the evasive explosion shot. Yeah, it doesn't feel as though there's a way you should be playing. You shouldn't go into this game asking people, okay, what do I need to do now, what's the best way to earn money? You should find it yourself. You should find what you enjoy doing, whether or not it's combat, whether it's trading, whether it's fishing, it's crafting or processing, or hunting or horse taming. You should find that, and then you should do it. There's obviously a variety of different classes, they all feel different and stuff, and there's just so much freedom, which I think is really important for an MMO. And they all complement each other well as well. Like, if you go out and gather goods, then you can say, if I went out and killed a load of chickens, they would give me chicken meat, which I can cut off their corpses. Then I can refine this meat into actual food, which I can either sell if I want to, or I can turn it into potions, or I can eat it. Like, those are some boiled bird eggs, and that will increase all my attack power by 1 for 30 minutes. So the processing, the gathering, the farming, and the cooking all come together to complement your combat. And it's just, there is a reason to do everything. Like, you're going to see herbs out in the wild. And my first mistake was at the beginning, like, this is a rock which I can mine. I'm still in combat right now, so I need to get out of that. Which I can mine, and this will give me goods which I can make into weapons, or I could trade these, or I could refine them. And I really like how everything works together, and there's a reason to do everything. You're not doing things to level them up, you're doing them to make other things easier, if that makes sense. Like earlier, because I was in combat and I was sprinting, I leveled up my stamina, which gave me more endurance, and here I've got some tin ore and some rough stone which I can make into stuff. It's just, I know I'm repeating myself at this point, but I can't stress how much freedom there is. And my mistake at the beginning, as I said, was trying to do everything. It was chopping down every tree I could, it was picking up every herb I could, picking up every plant, and that will just be a bad idea. Honestly, you do not want to be doing that. But if I quickly go into the map, as I said earlier, you can get workers, which is one of the most important things you can do. That's one of my farms down there. But if I go into my worker list, which is here, these are all people I've recruited. And you can level them up, you can give them food to increase their stamina, they can learn skills of their own which will increase their speed, and you can move them between towns. You can get them to transport goods, because you have storage in each town. Storage is localized. You can see my ship raft there, which I got one of them to make, because this building I unlocked, which is a tool workshop, so they can make tools here. I also put it next to this building where they can refine rough stones, one of the ones I just got into black stone powder. And then I got this building, which is a shipyard, where they can make ship licenses, which will give you a ship so you can go out to sea. And say the raft, which I built, one of the basic ones, needs logs and black stone powder which I get by processing rocks, and logs which I get by going out in the wild and chopping down trees. Then I can put that in the storage of this town, or hell, I could be in this town, say if it was more convenient for me, I could put it in the storage here. Then I could get my workers to get on one of my horses, and then I could get them to take it to this town, and then I could get the workers in this town to make it by going into the crafting menu, and you can give them each individual roles. Like, I could get that person to make the scanting, this person to make some ash sap, and it's just, there is so much to it, I cannot stress it enough, and it's great. Like, one of the best things about this game is setting up this network of workers, buying houses for them to live in, and then creating workshops for them to work in. You can send them to work at farms, so I could get them to pick potatoes, and you can see how long it's going to take. You can see how good each worker is for that specific role. And then, say if I went over to this farm, I've got a crop workbench, so they could pack those potatoes into crates, which then I can trade and sell those to other towns for a good amount of money. So just hiring all these workers, setting up this network, it is a lovely little metagames thing you can do to enable all the stuff you're doing in your main game. And the UI isn't intuitive, it's pretty ugly and it's complicated, but you do get used to it. You just really need to hang in there, and then you will get the hang of it. But yeah, this game, I'm so glad that the developers were kind enough to give me a review key for it, because it allowed me to actually give it a chance after I heard all the bad things about it, and it meant I could try it for myself. And as a little bonus at the end of this video, I'm going to be opening some dye boxes which I can use to dye my equipment. So that's my little incentive, because they gave me a key which gave me like that really cool horse you saw, and the furniture in my house, and it also came with loads of dye. So if I open 5 of these, then I'll go into the Pearl menu and I'll be able to see what exactly I got. There's 3 unknown dyes which are basic, there's the Capenian dye, and there's the Olivian dye. So I'll open all of these. Dyes are one of the premium things which you can use to customize equipment, but they are going to cost real money, or you can get them as quests part-time. But then if I open my palette, which is where all my dyes are, I can right-click them to put them in the palette. I got a grey one, I got a dry green one, soft orange, snow aqua I'm looking forward to seeing, and 2 dark beans. But then if I go into the dye menu, which is J as far as I know, you can see my equipment, and every bit of your equipment you can customize. Every, like your bow, your dagger, your actual armor itself, your shoes, your helmet. And then if you go into that alone, like I want to get the costume here, there we go, you can customize individual parts with dyes. So like that's the bits up there, that's the skirt, and then that's the belts and various appendages, that's the actual underwear, and then those are the tights. And then you can change the colour of that individually. Just the amount of customization is insane, and again, an incentive to earn money and actually farm all this stuff if you want to really tailor the experience. There hasn't been that much variation in equipment, which is one of my criticisms, but the customization within the equipment is, I guess it kind of makes up for it. But yeah, that's I have no idea how long this has gone on for. It's probably a lot longer than I expected, because it's just, and I haven't even covered anything in detail, it's ridiculous. And like, hell, what have I done, 2 quests in this entire time? You really get carried away with this, and you can get lost. And you can easily just end up saying, okay, one more trade route, I'm just going to go to the farm and drop off these potatoes, okay, I'm going to quickly package them together, okay, I'll get my worker to send them off so that he's walking across the world map overnight, and then you come back to some money in your storage, which is nice. But yeah, if you've been on the fence with Black Desert, I can't recommend it enough. It is going to be difficult, you are going to have to sink your time into it, and it isn't going to be intuitive at first. But as soon as you do start putting time into it, you start to see the fruits of your labour flourish, and you get to see all this cool equipment coming in and money, and then you get to see this network which you've set up of workers and all these towns and all these houses you've bought. It really does reward you for the time you give it, which a lot of MMOs don't. But yeah, I don't know if I'll be doing more coverage of Black Desert Online. By all means, if people want it, then I will provide it. But otherwise it's just something I'll be enjoying in my own time, and something which I can play casually or hardcore. I can play at my own pace how I want, which is exactly what I want from an MMO. You can see someone's ship down there just sailing. That's something I could make if I wanted. It's just, I could really wax lyrical about this and talk about all the good things in it, but I think you get the point. So yeah, thumbs up recommendation. I was on the fence. I really was. I'm not just saying that to try and make my opinion seem more validated. I was thinking about just giving this a miss, but I'm really glad I didn't. That's given me more contribution points, which I can use to purchase towns, buildings, or workers. Oh my god, I could go on forever. I need to stop. This is me, Evans with Z11. Please rate if you enjoyed the video, and this is me out. Peace.